That's huge. That is a biggie. It's out of here.
India's COVID-19 tally crosses 9 million mark after 45,882 cases in a day. The US COVID-19 outbreak is worse than it's ever been. And Democratic candidate for the US Senate Georgia, Rev. Warnock, holds a South Asian rally and meet and greet at Patel Plaza.
Hello and welcome to 2020 Stars, and I'm your host Namita. COVID-19, when we first heard about it in the month of February or March, we weren't sure what it was. By the time April and May came, we got so panicked we locked down ourselves in our homes, mostly because government said so. Till June and July came, we were in a state of shock, uncertainty, economic losses of various kinds. But as the experts say, lockdown fatigue. We all felt it. And then we wanted to get back to our normal lives so badly, then we forgot about one thing. COVID-19 is still here and vaccine is not. आज के बुलेटिन में हम आपको कुछ disturbing facts दिखाने वाले हैं about this pandemic. This is just to show ourselves a little mirror, not to worry you, but to be aware. We are starting with the India coronavirus update.
India is approaching the 11th month of the coronavirus pandemic, and with more than 9 million confirmed cases, the second highest in the world after the US, and more than 132,000 reported deaths. Recovery surged to 84.28 lakh, pushing the national recovery rate to 93.6%. The only consolation is a death rate that's lower than many countries with a high caseload. The increase in reported cases has partly to do with increased testing, but the speed at which the virus is spreading is worrying experts. Here's why. It took 170 days for India to reach the first million cases. The last million cases took only 11 days. 7 states are worst affected, accounting for about 48% of India's population. But even as infections soar, India is opening up workplaces, public transport, eateries, gyms, to try to repair a battered economy suffering its worst slump in decades. Experts worry that India has begun to lower its guard. After an intense lockdown in the spring and restrictions on social gathering through the summer, the government has been steadily unlocking. There is no talk of locking down again. The overall mood seemed to be, let's move on. Mobility data show that Indians have returned to shopping areas and public spaces. Many are not wearing masks. A large chunk of the population seems resigned to the threat of the infection. Social workers on the field tell horrifying stories.
छोटे-छोटे बच्चे, बुजुर्ग, महिलाएं, उनकी लाशों को अपने हाथ से जलाया। आप देख रहे हैं कि दिल्ली के अंदर आज वो मंजर आ चुका है जो कभी इटली में आया था कि लोग सड़कों के ऊपर मरे हुए पड़े थे।
आप देख सकते हैं कोविड की एक्सट्रीम वेव दिल्ली को हिट कर चुकी है। इतना बुरा हाल हो चुका है दिल्ली का, जब कोविड शुरू हुआ था उससे भी ज्यादा बुरा हाल आज हो रहा है नवंबर के इस महीने में। जो फिगर्स आपको दिखाए जा रहे हैं कोविड-19 से हुए डेथ केसेस के दिल्ली में, वो सिर्फ वो आंकड़े हैं जो हॉस्पिटल में डेथ हुई है। घरों के अंदर सैकड़ों लोग रोज मर रहे हैं दिल्ली में, जिसका आंकड़ा कहीं नहीं दिखाया जा रहा, इसके फिगर्स कहीं नहीं दिखाए जा रहे। शहीद भगत सिंह सेवादल की टीम्स ऐसी लाशों को रोज लेकर आ रही हैं, घर से लेकर शमशान घाट तक, जिनकी होम आइसोलेशन में डेथ हो रही है।
हॉस्पिटल में जाओ तो बेड नहीं है, बेड है तो ऑक्सीजन नहीं है, ऑक्सीजन है तो वेंटिलेटर नहीं है, और वेंटिलेटर के बाद भी अगर कोई चला जाता है उसकी लाश को जलाने के लिए आज शमशान घाट में जगह नहीं है। गाड़ी शमशान घाट पे जो लेके आती है उसके अंदर रखने की जगह नहीं है।
A recent BBC report supports this claim as well.
मैंने 9 हॉस्पिटलों के चक्कर काटे लेकिन वहाँ से कोई रिजल्ट नहीं मिला। आज मैं इतना अकेला महसूस कर रहा हूँ कि मेरे पे कोई शब्द नहीं है।
Just because of their carelessness, I lost my father. And it's not just me. Many of them have lost their life just because they did not get ICU bed on time.
The first thing is that we will try to break the chain of infection. Means we will try to break the spread. And for that, what was needed is to do extensive testing. But now what we have seen that the lockdown was very unplanned.
Major festivals like Diwali worsened the conditions, and with the winter coming, experts say the worst is yet to come.
In India, you can find all kinds of gems, stones, beads, pearls, jewelry, all at affordable rates and under one roof at Beats After Beats.
अगर आप इस वक्त हमें YouTube पर देख रहे हैं तो प्लीज़ सब्सक्राइब, शेयर एंड लाइक. Also press the bell icon for our upcoming videos. You can also watch this bulletin at timestars.com. Well, after India, now let's have a look at the United States coronavirus update.
Nothing about the current COVID-19 explosion should come as a surprise. As the virus spread throughout summer and fall, experts repeatedly warned winter would be worse. They cautioned that a cold weather return to indoor socializing, particularly around the holidays, could turn a steady burn into a wildfire. The US is now locked in a deadly cycle of settling, then shattering records for new cases and hospitalizations. On November 13, a staggering 177,000 people in the US were diagnosed with COVID-19. As of November 17th, more than 70,000 coronavirus patients were hospitalized nationwide. And unlike in earlier waves, which were fairly regionalized, the virus was as of November 17 spreading and fast in virtually every part of the US according to Johns Hopkins University data. This coast-to-coast surge is pushing hospitals across the country to edge for catastrophe. Doctors and nurses are exhausted, and intensive care units running dangerously low on beds.
Heart attack, for a stroke, we might not have the capacity to take care of that patient.
That we will have to make very difficult decisions about who gets the best quality care.
The emotional and the physical stress, it's exhausting. Absolutely exhausting. I don't know how we are getting through it.
Right on the cusp of things going from ugly to horrible, and that's where they're living right now.
I've been with a couple of nurses crying. You get to the end of your shift and we've done all we've done. So just the consoling of them and saying, you're a great nurse, you're doing all you can, we're going to make it through. And it's hard.
In El Paso, Texas, the dead have been shunned to mobile morgues partially staffed by the incarcerated. But the US public has become terrifyingly good to ignoring those harsh realities. Almost 40% of respondents to recent Ohio State University survey said they plan to gather with at least 10 people for Thanksgiving, even though in many areas this comes with the likelihood of sharing a table with an infectious person. Many people continue to dine at indoor restaurants and work out in gyms because many elected officials continue to let them. As Americans' reaction to the pandemic become increasingly divorced from the reality of it, public health officials may be facing their biggest challenge yet.
We may be superheroes, but we are not superhuman.
Forcing the public to face how bad things still are and how worse they may become.
Amid this coronavirus terror, there is a good news too, or a ray of hope. Pfizer and BioNTech likely to submit to the FDA for emergency authorization for their coronavirus vaccine. अगर सब कुछ ठीक रहा तो emergency cases के लिए ये vaccine end of the year से available हो सकती है. We will keep you updated regarding the same. Here आगे बढ़ते हैं. On Thursday, November 19, Democratic candidate for the US Senate Georgia, Reverend Warnock, held a South Asian rally and meet and greet at Patel Plaza. Warnock, the senior pastor at the historic Baptist Church in Atlanta, is running to unseat Kelly Loeffler, a Republican. Let's have a look at the event.
Welcome everyone. My name is State Representative Carla Drenner, and I'd like to welcome you to House District 85. You know, Georgia Rev blue, right? And the Senate's going to go blue too.
Obviously, you know me, I'm Mike Patel. I want to welcome everyone here. I'm glad it's such a great sunny day for us. But before I give the microphone to Reverend Warnock, I just want to thank some important people. Mostly, Reverend Warnock is very affiliated with churches, but we have a lot of art temples. So the Jamaat Khanna who's supporting us at the back, I want to thank them. I want to thank Sakti Mandir, Bobby Patel here. We also have representatives from BAPS. So I hope Reverend Warnock can come into our temples as well, because maybe he can do a sermon for us, right? So, but most of all important is this is our community here, and we've got to get our community to go and vote for the right person. And they're so important. Can you imagine in our lifetime we're having Georgia turn blue? But the icing on the cake is January, where we get Reverend and John Ossoff into our Senate. So that's what it is. And why he's so passionate? Unfortunately, I never knew last year that this year I'll be standing here, and I lost my wife 6 months ago to COVID. And I was thinking of you. She was supposed to be released from hospital within 3 days, but she has an underlying issue. And so within 3 days, they give you prednisone to suppress your inflammation, but it also suppresses your immune system. So she passed away. And so I'm passionate about all of you guys, because there's one thing: if you have a pre-existing condition, we must have it covered. Let me tell you, as Southeast Asians, we know probably in your house someone's got diabetes. Okay? So this is so important. So when you go back home, please explain why we must come and vote, because this is a man that's going to protect inclusively. I always say I was appointed commissioner by Bill Clinton to the White House, and I always say to myself, Democrat, we're more inclusive than exclusive. So for inclusive's sake, I want to introduce you to, without taking too much of your time, let's do more of this. Let's get people out to vote, and we're also going to do some fundraisers. But this is where we make the difference. I want to welcome Reverend Raphael Warnock. Please, big round of applause.
Well, hello, everybody. Give Mike Patel a great big round of applause. Thank you. Thank you for all of the support that we are feeling all across the state of Georgia. I hope to inspire you to vote for Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff. Listen, this is a special time in the state of Georgia. The eyes of the whole nation are on us, that we are a nation built together, not on the basis of race, not on the basis of ethnicity or national origin, not on the basis of where we worship or by what name we call God, not on the basis of anything else other than a grand idea that all of us are in our own unique way. And so I want to encourage you to stand with me in the days ahead. Let people know that Reverend Warnock's campaign is about ordinary people. It's about honoring the work that folks are putting in, instead of demonizing workers and demonizing poor people. Tell them that I'm somebody who believes that it's a contradiction to call people essential workers and not pay them an essential wage, not provide for them essential benefits. Tell them that I believe that our seniors should not have to choose between prescription drugs and buying food. Tell them that I believe that a senator was not sent to the United States Senate to represent Big Pharma, but to represent the little people. And I'd be deeply honored to represent the people in the great state of Georgia in the United States Senate.
My name is Firoza Sayed. We believe in voting for Warnock because he's pro-healthcare, pro-choice, pro-South Asian community, pro-business, and we want to make sure that we keep Georgia blue.
That's all in this bulletin. Hope through our reports on COVID-19, you have known the latest about coronavirus and would take care of yourselves and your family, because every case is the face of a loved one, not just a mere number. With this note, this is your host Namita signing off. See you all next week.